The Harvester'S Lullaby, Bavaria, Germany. 2000. The Bavarian countryside was a patchwork of frost-kissed fields and dense forests. The village of Wadhofen lay nestled in a valley, its lights dimmed by the late hour. Anna, a young journalist from Munich, drove her rented car down a winding dirt road. She'd been chasing a string of vanishings in rural Bavaria, people disappearing from remote homes. Her editor called it a wild goose chase, but Anna's instincts told her otherwise. The farm, abandoned since a fire a decade ago, was her last lead. But its eyes glimpsed only in the dark war hollow, like pits that swallowed light. And always, there was the thudding, a steady rhythm, like a heartbeat. Its hood hid its face, but Anna felt its gaze cold, ancient, like the stare of a predator older than the forest itself. In one hand, it held a scythe, its blade etched with spiraling symbols. In the other, it clutched a bundle of wheat, tied with a ribbon stained red. The air was sharp with the scent of pine and damp earth. As Anna parked near the blackened skeleton of the farmhouse. But now, in the field, the lullaby returned, closer, wrapping around her like a lover's embrace. Her childhood, her dreams, her fears, they unraveled, spiraling into the air like threads of light. She was bound to a wooden beam, her wrists tied with straw that cut like wire. It picked up a smaller blade, its edge glinting with the same spiraling symbols. The air was thick with the scent of earth and something sweeter, like rotting flowers. The harvester stood before her, arranging its scythe on a table covered in paper pages, filled with spirals, lines, and names. The harvest is set. It began to carve, not her flesh, but her essence, her hopes, her regrets, her identity. Ignore it, and you might hear the harvester's lullaby, feel the weight of its scythe. If you're in the Bavarian countryside and hear a melody in the dark, singing your name, turn back. Listen to your heart, or it'll be carved out, note by note, into a story you'll never tell again. It moves through the night, its lullaby drifting on the wind, calling to those who ignore their instincts, who chase ambition over truth. Its victims become stories, articles, songs, whispers, but their essence is reaped, woven into the land's endless song. Each cut drew a note from her lips, a melody of loss that joined the chorus. In the air, the symbols on the blade absorbed her, weaving her into the lullaby that echoed across the fields. A single candle flickered, casting shadows that danced like mourners. Days later, a blog post appeared online, credited to an anonymous source. It detailed the vanishings, written in Anna's voice, vivid and haunting. It went viral, a sensation that gripped the world, but Anna was never found. The lullaby grew louder, joined by other voices, a chorus of the lost. It sang of rest, of freedom, from the weight of her ambitions, her failures. She gripped her flashlight tighter, its beam shaking as it swept across the tall grass. The scythe gleamed, its edge catching the starlight. You've sown questions, doubts, fears. Let me harvest them. The thudding grew louder, deliberate, coming from all directions. Against her better judgment, she followed the sound. Drawn to a clearing where the grass was flattened, as if something heavy had stood there for hours. Her flashlight cut through the darkness, revealing charred beams and overgrown weeds. The silence was oppressive, broken only by the crunch of her boots on gravel. She'd heard the locals' whispers about this place dailies, of a figure seen in the fields, a shadow that sang a lullaby no one could forget. The lullaby held her, its notes weaving through her thoughts, promising answers. Fame. Everything she chased. She whispered, her voice barely her own. Farmers, hermits, wanders people living on the edges of society disappeared. The police found no signs of struggle, no clues. Just strange marks in the soil. Spirals and jagged lines. Like a language no one could read. She should have listened, should have trusted the knot in her stomach, but the promise of the story. The scoop that would make her name kept her rooted. The harvester raised its scythe, and the air grew thick. The symbols on the blade glowing brighter. Your truth will live forever, it said, and the blade swung. The locals spoke of the harvester, a figure draped in a tattered cloak, its face hidden by a hood woven from straw and shadow. It didn't just take lives. It took something else, memories, dreams, the very essence of who you were. They called it the Harvester, a name that sent shivers through even the hardiest farmers. Anna dismissed the stories as folklore, but as she stepped into the ruins, a chill settled in her bones. The air felt wrong, heavy, like it was watching her. Anna called, her voice trembling in the cold. The melody stopped, replaced by a rhythmic thud, like a blade sinking into wood. Her flashlight flickered, and for a moment, she swore the shadows moved, curling toward her like smoke. She should have turned back. Her gut screamed it, but the story pulled her forward, into the field. She shook it off, pulling out her notebook to jot down details. Then she heard Ita, faint melody, soft and lilting, like a lullaby sung by a distant voice. It drifted from the fields, weaving through the trees, both beautiful and wrong, like a song played backward. Who's there? The vanishings had begun months earlier, quiet at first, barely noticed outside the villages. Those who claimed to have seen it spoke of its voice, soft and hypnotic, singing a lullaby that promised. Anna had scoffed at the tailies over coffee in a Munich cafe. In the center of the clearing stood a figure. It was tall, gaunt, cloaked in a patchwork of straw and cloth. You seek the truth, Anna, it said, its voice a melody that sank into her soul. Her heart raced, but her feet wouldn't move. I am the one who reaps what is sown, it said, stepping closer. Anna's instincts screamed to run, but the lullaby drowned them out. Pain seared through Anna, not in her body, but deeper, as if her memories were being sliced away. Anna woke in a barn, its walls lined with drying wheat and rusted tools. You ignored your heart, it said, its voice a lullaby, now heavy. You chased shadows instead of truth. Anna struggled, the straw biting deeper. Please, she begged. I'll listen now. I'll go back. The harvester tilted its hooded head, and though she couldn't see its face, she felt its smile. Eternal. When it finished, Anna was gone, but her story wasn't. The harvester still stalks Bavaria's fields. That chill in your bones, that whisper of doubt, it's your truth warning you.